Response video to the Modern Mystic, or reaction video to his crappy video. That's all it was. Another rationalization, another justification for not trying, giving up, being futile. But in the context of, yes, I don't see any point in life itself, but as long as we're going to do it, let's do it as shitty as possible. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's silly. I mean, better blow ourselves up and do it right than to take no chance and live in mediocrity. But he would choose the mediocrity. Yeah. Even though he doesn't believe life has any purpose. I mean, just there's no, I can't make any sense out of his bullshit. But it's a running theme. We always come back to this shit because you always find some way to justify the crap, the elitist crap. He uses the word efficiency throughout his whole video. Let me start the second half. I won't beat this dead horse to pieces. But he keeps using the word efficiency. By nature's standards, efficiency is a fucking beehive, a cockroach, any kind of deplorable horror can be very efficient. But what does that have to do with human beings? It doesn't have anything to do with our standards of efficiency. Our definition of the word efficiency always comes in a context, and it's just fucking silly. Like I said, I can defend slavery. Well, everybody should just become a slave state because it'll make you more triangular, make you more capable of being more productive and defeating all comers and all enemies. But look at the price you paid. The price was way too high. And this is coming from the same guy who has this big, gets all upset because somebody talks about maybe, well, we're going to break a few dumb promises. Fuck these IOUs. Fuck these rich assholes. No, you break a few promises. That's the end of the fucking world. The world just exploded. But he'll kill babies. Like I said, he'll justify enslaving most of the world's population because it's efficient. I mean, what the fuck, Nick? I mean, it's just idiotic. It's just, there's no point in saying, well, I would rather live in a round, civilized country, but that can't work, so we should go triangular. No, fuck you. We should start lopping some heads off. Maybe in France. We start there. Anyway.
It's not nice for 99% of the people. What could be better? Living in a round country would be much nicer for much more of the people. But I don't think in a Darwinian sort of way these round countries are going to exist until there's a mind change in the whole world.
Right. And what are you doing to help create the mind change? Nothing. You're doing exactly the opposite. You're telling the whole world, well, just give up. We can't make the round country work. We can't make it roll over all the triangles and squish them and smash them. We can't be done, so no point in even thinking about being civilized. Fuck you.
Stop this fighting, basically, this warring going on. And this warring, I believe, is still going on.
Yeah, by warring, he doesn't mean just the sticks and stones throwing at each other warring. He means the trade wars and the money wars and the other extortions and games that these countries play with each other. But regardless, it matters not. If we're soldiers for civilization, if we exist for something, not to be something, but to be for something, we just don't need these assholes saying it can't be done. It doesn't matter if our odds are 1 in 1,000 of victory. We know that victory is the only hope. There's no winning in acquiescing, in miring ourselves in mediocrity and slop. There's no life as human bugs.
And the only way of a country standing up firm and resolute against other warring countries is to be as efficient as it can. And I think Darwinianly it has shown this triangular way is the way to run a country, to be at war with other countries.
Yeah, right. So you're just justifying the the ends, which is a pointless and futile victory. Justify the means, which is brutal and humiliatingly unfair and cheaty and disgustingly putrid. And this coming from somebody like who makes a totem pole out of some jackasses, some 1500 IOU in some fat ass's pocket. I think I'll write a Dr. Seuss book. You know, the Fat Bellied Sneetches. You know, the Fat Bellied Sneetches versus the Thin Bellied Sneetches. And I don't think it's going to end the same way as the old Dr. Seuss book. You know, but they got to go.
So I don't think we're going to get out of this triangle idea of them at the top and a great mass of people underclass unless the entire world changes its mental attitude.
Yeah, well, how does that change take place? It's got to take place because people talk the talk and they walk the walk. Like maybe the Union did when it said to the slave owners, "Fuck you, the game's over." And the good news is the efficiency of the slave owners, their productivity, they couldn't take it to the battlefield. Okay, it was good on the plantation land. It was very productive there, but they couldn't take the slaves to war. And I think that's going to happen in the rest of the world. You're going to have a harder and harder time getting yourself an army willing to go do what it takes for the grand principle of, heating the noble's house. So, yeah, I mean, real men against mercenaries, I don't know. I think you're going to lose that war.
Not to be at war until we get a world view of things, not a country view or an area view or an us and them view. I think we're always going to have this. And
well, look, we're not going to have anything for very long, so unless we do something pretty damn quick, we're going to have nothing. So, we're going to have green sky, glow in the dark green clouds. So, whatever's going to happen, it's going to happen pretty rapidly. We're going to have to get the ball fucking rolling hard now, or there's not going to be any hope at all. I mean, Triangle World doesn't live with nuclear weapons. It just doesn't.
In a way, it might even be better to accept it, because if you want to run around country,
it might be better to accept it. Brilliance. Why would you bother even starting the next sentence with "if you want to run around country" when you just said you should accept being a triangle?
There's a very, very good chance that your triangular neighbours are just going to wipe you out. You can say, well, that wouldn't happen in today's modern world. Well, I don't think them at the top are going to give that a try. So,
well, like I said, them at the top don't have the tools they've had throughout history, which was grotesque ignorance. They don't have a bunch of faithful, God-fearing minions to go send off to against the opposing force with some kind of notion that they're fighting for God. Not all that shit's gone. So it's going to be a lot harder to build yourself a weapons that the minions will facilitate. Whether it's a trade war or anything else, I mean, you're going to create enough contempt where people will just not play the game the way they want the game played.
I realise that this is a bit tendentious, a bit of a daring video, but...
No, it's a stupid, completely consistent with your always backslidey crap video. This is where you always end up. This is why me and you just, we end up in these stupid fights. Is because you keep throwing this crap out there that somehow we can't undo this elitist status quo crap. That there's no way of unraveling it, there's no way of escaping it, it's our destiny. Well, fuck you, bug, you fucking cockroach.
I think it's actually based on some degree of fact. So I'm sorry if it's
Yeah, fact. What fact? Well, historically, history doesn't matter, as I've just explained, because the masses aren't ignorant anymore. It's all, it's a different world, and a lot of the jig is up.
It rubs a lot of people up the wrong way. But hopefully it can be seen that we are human beings, and our nature, although we don't see it in everyday life, the civilization on the ground, but I think you'll find that behind the scenes there are wars going on everywhere.
Yeah, and we're in it. We're in the battle, and so we either pick up our tools and fight for what we think's right, or we don't. And you're just basically, like I said, who won? I'm sitting here, and we're sitting here in our little battle armor, and we got one of the little fucktarded soldiers is just going lament.